What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats as well as some excellent attachment combinations for every gun in Modern Warfare 2. And in today's episode, we're going to be moving on to the next sniper rifle. This is the Victus XMR. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our one-shot kill zones and ranges. And as we can see here, we have an amazing maximum damage range at 78 meters. This actually is the best maximum damage range out of any gun in the entire game, and it will cover the vast majority of lines of sight that you'll ever be able to find in a 6v6 map. And within this range, we will be able to get a one-shot kill anywhere from the elbow up in the arms, and then anywhere from the groin up with the torso. So this is the same as the MCPR as well as the Signal 50. Then within our mid damage range from 78 meters to 102 meters, now it's going to be a one-shot kill anywhere in the torso, so from the groin up, but the arms are no longer a one-shot kill. And then finally, beyond 102 meters, this is where you have to hit them in the upper torso, neck, or head if you want a one-shot kill. Next up, let's have a look at our rate of fire, and unfortunately this is the slowest rate of fire in the sniper rifle category at 36 rounds per minute, so this means we have a rechamber time of about 1670 milliseconds. So that is quite slow. You're not going to get those follow-up shots nearly as quick as many of the other rifles in the game. Then when it comes to our aim down sight time, this is actually the second worst in the sniper rifle category at 625 milliseconds. Honestly, it's not too far off the average, but it is still a bit on the slower side compared to many of the others. And then finally, our sprint out times are pretty standard here for sniper rifles at 250 milliseconds for our standard sprint out time and 375 milliseconds for our tactical sprint out time. Then let's get into our bullet velocity, which is pretty standard for snipers at 780 meters per second. This is an excellent bullet velocity. And then let's have a look at our hipfire spread, which again is pretty normal for a sniper rifle in this game. It's tied with all of the other sniper rifles aside from the Signal 50. And next I want to have a look at a comparison of the default sniper optics, mainly because, as you can see here, the Victus XMR has a much higher zoom level by default with its optic, and that could be a pro or a con depending on what you're going for. If you're going for really long range snipes, this is excellent. If you're looking for more close quarters action though, you may end up needing to use a lower zoom optic in order to compensate for this. After that, I did want to point out when it comes to the recoil with this gun, this is one of the few sniper rifles that will actually recenter after every shot that you fire, and therefore you don't have to manually compensate after every shot. Then let's get into our mobility stats, and unfortunately our base movement speed with this gun is the slowest in the sniper rifle category at 4.34 meters per second. However, our sprint speed and our aim walking movement speed are both essentially average for sniper rifles, so it's just that base walking movement speed that is on the slower side. Then when it comes to our reload add time, as you can see here, it's 2.27 seconds, which is pretty quick for a sniper rifle. That's not bad at all. However, if we use the 7-round mag, that will increase our reload add time to 2.45 seconds. And if we use the 9-round mag, that will increase it even more up to 2.61 seconds. And diving a little deeper into the unique attachments and how they impact our aim down sight speeds, as you can see here, there are 4 barrels, 3 of which will harm our aim down sight time, 1 of them will improve it. We've got 4 stocks as well, and 1 of them improves our aim down sight speed, the other one harms it. We have a single guard attachment, the Corvus Responder. This one hurts our aim down sight speed by 70 milliseconds, which is pretty bad. Then for our rear grips, only 1 of them improves our aim down sight speed, which is the Bruin Q900. And then finally, for our magazine attachments, the 7-round mag will increase our aim down sight time by 25 milliseconds, whereas the 9-round mag will increase it by 50 milliseconds. So when it comes to this gun, there aren't a ton of attachments that really help improve aim down sight speed, unlike many of the other snipers, and that is something to be aware of with this gun. And speaking of unique attachments, I did want to talk a little bit about some of the unique ammunition attachments as well. The first one being explosive ammunition. A lot of people have been curious about this, wondering if it's worth using or not, and I'm just going to tell you guys right up front, it's straight up just not worth using at all. Against enemies that aren't using Bomb Squad, it's still the exact same one-hit kill areas. However, you deal a small amount of splash damage if you shoot like right next to the target or right below them. However, with that splash damage, even right below their feet, it still takes 3 shots to kill them, so that's not really viable at all as a method of killing enemies. And to top all of that off, if an enemy uses the Bomb Squad perk, you now can't get a one-shot kill on that player, even with a headshot, which is ridiculous. And as a result, that renders this ammunition completely useless. There is no reason to ever use explosive ammo. Even against streaks, while it does deal a bit more damage to streaks, you're just better off using something that's actually designed for taking down streaks, like the Incendiary SO14 or one of the LMGs. Now with this, you may be wondering about incendiary ammo as well, because you may notice in the maximum damage range For the areas where it's not a one-shot kill, you're still dealing 99 damage, so you would think if you put Incendiary Ammo on there, that would be enough to push it over the 100 threshold, so then it would be a one-shot kill anywhere in the body. Well, it turns out that's just not the case. It doesn't work that way. For some reason, using incendiary rounds doesn't change your one-shot kill potential at all to the body, and as a result, once again, I just recommend staying away from this ammo entirely. Next up, let's move on to the barrel attachments and how they impact our range as well as our bullet velocity. And as we can see here, this chart can't really show off the damage range drop-offs because, like I said, for the 6v6 maps, you're not going to find practical lines of sight long enough to find these drop-off points. But you can see here, the first barrel improves our damage ranges by 24%. That's a massive boost. The second barrel reduces our ranges by 7%. And then finally, the fourth barrel will reduce our ranges by 10%. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about those range reductions for 6v6 because you're still going to be hard-pressed to find any line of sight that's practical beyond that range. And with that, since we don't have any bolt attachments that affect our rate of fire on this gun, we're going to move straight into some excellent attachment combinations I've got for you guys. And the first one I want to share is my more aggressive build designed for the 6v6 experience. And with this, we're using the MWII 21.5-inch short barrel, the VLK Laser 7mW, the VLK 4X optic, the XRK Rise 50 stock, and finally the Bruin Q900 grip. All of these attachments are designed to improve our aim down sight speed, and also with that optic, it's nice to have a bit of a lower zoom optic if you are being more aggressive. And with this, our aim down sight speed ends up being 466 milliseconds, which is a massive improvement over the base. Our Sprintout time is also very noticeably improved, and really the only noticeable downside to this is our muzzle velocity is slightly decreased over the base, but it's still excellent, especially for any of the 6v6 gunfights you'll find yourself in. 754 meters per second is still an amazing bullet velocity for 6v6. As for the second build that I've got for you guys, this one's much more balanced. We are using the default optic here, so this is designed more to be treated like an actual sniper rifle, hanging back, picking people off at long ranges. However, we're once again using that MWII 21.5-inch short barrel. Even though this decreases our range slightly, we still have amazing range values, and I like getting the aim down sight improvements here. We have the 1mW quick-fire laser. This one doesn't help as much with aim down sight time as from the previous build, but the laser beam is also not visible while aiming down sight, so it's better suited to a hard scoping playstyle. We once again have the XRK Rise 50 stock. This time we're using the Bruin G305 grip. This one helps with flinch resistance, which is really helpful for a build like this. And then finally, we've got the high velocity ammo type on this. And with all of this combined, I still managed to improve the aim down sight speed a little bit at 552 milliseconds. And our bullet velocity is also very nicely improved up to just under 1100 meters per second. This thing's gonna feel like hit scan in most gunfights that you find yourself in, which is excellent. And overall, I would say this is a really good build, especially for Invasion or Ground War or DMZ, but you could also use it with a lot of success on some of the really big 6v6 maps if you can find really long lines of sight. This is definitely not the kind of build I'd be running around trying to quickscope with though. And with that, that's going to wrap it up today's gun guide on the Victus XMR. As for my thoughts on this gun, well, I do think it's a very usable gun, and I don't really have too many issues with it. It is the bottom of my list for sniper rifles when it comes to 6v6. I think it really excels more in the larger scale modes like Invasion, Ground War, DMZ, but in 6v6, in every area that counts at least, I would much rather use any one of the other sniper rifles that has a better aim down sight time, better rate of fire for instance, and those are far more important when we're looking at a smaller scale experience. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts on the Victus XMR, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. And if you guys have missed any of the previous episodes, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.